Discover Lake Natron, nature's stone-making mystery. Intro and hook. In a remote corner of northern Tanzania sits a lake so otherworldly it looks like it was plucked from a surrealist painting. Its surface shimmers in shades of crimson, fringed by stark, white salt flats that stretch to the horizon. But this bizarre beauty hides a terrifying secret. This is a lake that's said to turn living creatures into stone. Birds, bats, and other animals that die here are often found washed ashore, perfectly preserved in ghostly, calcified statues. So, is this the work of a supernatural curse? A modern-day Medusa's gaze captured in water? Or is it just a powerful and mysterious force of nature? On these shores, the line between myth and reality gets pretty blurry. Today, we're journeying to the infamous Lake Natron to uncover the truth behind its stone-making secret and explore the wild science that governs this lethal, yet life-giving, natural wonder. Section 1. The Crimson Waters and the Stone Statues. Stretching for 57 kilometers near the Kenyan border, Lake Natron is a sight to behold. It's a shallow soda lake, usually less than 3 meters deep, but it more than makes up for that with its wild chemistry. The first thing you notice is the color. The water isn't blue. It's a startling, hypnotic, and often blood red. This eerie shade isn't from blood, but from billions of tiny, salt-loving organisms that thrive in the lake's unique environment. But the lake is most famous for the haunting sculptures found along its banks. The images are unforgettable. A bat with its wings spread in mid-flight, a swallow frozen in its final pose, a flamingo with its elegant neck still arched. These are the victims of Lake Natron, made famous by photographer Nick Brandt. While traveling in the region, he discovered these calcified creatures washed ashore, and was so captivated that he posed them, creating stark portraits that look like something out of a dark fairy tale. But Brandt didn't turn them to stone, and neither did a mythical curse. The animals were already transformed by the lake itself. This isn't petrification, where minerals slowly replace tissue over millions of years to form a fossil. It's something much weirder and faster, a natural form of mummification. The key ingredient is a substance called natron, a natural mix of sodium carbonate and sodium bicarbonate. And if that sounds familiar, it should. It's the exact same stuff the ancient Egyptians used to preserve their pharaohs for the afterlife. Here, nature has perfected its own mummification process. Section 2. The Geological Powerhouse. So, what's behind this haunting transformation? It all starts deep within the Earth's crust. The lake sits in the East African Rift System, a massive fault line where the African continent is slowly tearing itself in two. This tectonic activity creates a hotspot for volcanoes and geothermal action. Looming over the southern end of the lake is the real architect of its deadly nature, the Old Doinyo Lengai volcano. In the local Maasai language, its name means Mountain of God, and it's a place of immense spiritual significance. Geologically, it's a global freak. Old Doinyo Lengai is the only active volcano on Earth that erupts something called nitrocarbonatite lava. Unlike typical silica-based lava, this stuff is incredibly rich in sodium and potassium carbonates. It erupts at much lower temperatures, around 600 degrees Celsius, and flows with the viscosity of water, looking more like a stream of black oil than molten rock. For millennia, every time the Mountain of God has erupted, it has spewed ash rich in these carbonates across the landscape. Rain washes this material down into Lake Natron's basin, which has no outlet. It's a closed system, a giant bowl that has been collecting these unique minerals for thousands of years. Section 3. The chemical cauldron. This constant flow of volcanic minerals, combined with water from hot springs, has turned Lake Natron into a chemical cauldron. The key factor is evaporation. In this hot, arid climate, water evaporates at a ferocious rate, leaving behind a super-concentrated soup of salts. The result is a liquid so caustic it's hard to believe. The lake's pH is typically around 10.5, but it can climb to levels greater than 12, nearly as alkaline as household bleach. For most animals, this water is lethally corrosive, capable of burning skin and eyes. The water temperature itself is punishing, often topping 40 degrees Celsius, 104 degrees Fahrenheit, and sometimes hitting a scalding 60 degrees Celsius, 140 degrees Fahrenheit, in the shallows. This trifecta of high alkalinity, high temperature, and high salinity is what makes the lake so deadly. The leading theory is that the lake's mirror-like surface disorients flying birds, causing them to crash into the water. Once they're in, the high concentration of sodium carbonate gets to work. It acts as a powerful preservative, stopping decomposition in its tracks. As the carcass dries out, minerals harden the tissues, encasing the animal in a solid, statue-like crust. It's a grim, natural taxidermy that creates the eerie figures on the shore. Section 4. The twist, a cradle of life. But here's the biggest twist. This place of death, it's also bursting with life. That shocking red color is the first sign, coming from salt-loving haloarchaea and cyanobacteria that thrive in the brine. These tiny organisms are the foundation of a unique and surprisingly robust food chain. And at the top of that food chain is the lake's most famous resident, the lesser flamingo. For these birds, Lake Natron isn't a death trap, it's a paradise. In fact, it is the single most important breeding ground for lesser flamingos on the planet. Period. As many as 2.5 million of them, that's 75% of the entire global population, flock here to breed. So how do they survive? They're perfectly adapted. Their tough, leathery skin and scaly legs prevent burns from the caustic water. They have special glands that filter out excess salt, allowing them to drink from less saline springs. And the cyanobacteria that tint the water red, a type of algae called spirulina, is their main food source. But the real genius of this place? The lake's deadly water is the ultimate bodyguard. The flamingos build their mud nests on vast salt flats that are completely inaccessible to predators who can't cross the corrosive mud. This makes Lake Natron a safe, predator-free nursery for hundreds of thousands of flamingo chicks. It's a true sanctuary for the few species tough enough to call it home. Section 5. A fragile wonder. Lake Natron is a world of stark contrasts, a lake that kills and preserves with one hand, while nurturing and protecting with the other. It's a testament to the sheer power of geology and the incredible adaptability of life. This one-of-a-kind ecosystem is, unsurprisingly, incredibly fragile. For years, the threat of industrial mining loomed large, with proposals to build a massive soda ash plant to extract the lake's valuable sodium carbonate. Conservation groups and local communities fought back hard, warning it would destroy the flamingo breeding grounds by altering the lake's delicate chemistry. And then, in a huge win for conservation, the Tanzanian government announced in August 2025 that it would not approve the large-scale industrial project. The decision protects not just the flamingos, but also the local Maasai people who rely on the area for grazing and the growing ecotourism industry. CTA. The story of Lake Natron is a powerful reminder of how intricate and interconnected our planet's ecosystems are. If you loved this deep dive into nature's deadly beauty and want to explore more of our world's incredible mysteries, make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss an adventure. Conclusion. Lake Natron isn't some cursed place from a myth. It's a living, breathing geological laboratory. The stone animals are not victims of a spell, but monuments to a bizarre and powerful natural process. The lake is a stark reminder that the forces that shape our planet operate on a scale far grander than our own, creating environments that are at once hostile and hospitable, terrifying and beautiful. It challenges our whole idea of what it means for a place to be alive. Because even in the most extreme, seemingly inhospitable corners of the Earth, life, in its own strange and resilient way, always finds a way. So, what do you think? Would you dare to visit the shores of a lake that turns life to stone? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.